Hey, it's Chris, Liege Games. This is my ode to joy, my ode to Exceed, because you've heard me expound it several times. I've talked about it, I have mentioned it in passing, but this is the game, and now I'm going to talk to you about it, and I'm going to tell you the 5 things that make me think, my opinion, that this is the best two-player asymmetric fighter arcade style game out there on the market, period. Yeah, those are strong words. Those are big words at the beginning of the video. I went there. Let's do this. Now, you're maybe more familiar with its older brother, Battlecon. Battlecon was the predecessor. It's the big brother to little brother, if you will, if you're familiar with that reference, living in Michigan. But this is, something in and of itself. Battlecon is the perfect information game. It's the perfect information dueler where I know what you know, what I know, what you know about your character and my character, and we both have the same sets, and I know all your cards, and I know the distribution because I can see cards that are on the table, and as well as I can then figure out deduction-wise what's in your hand, but I don't know what you're going to play. So are you going to bluff? Are you going to, feint? How are you going to do that? And it becomes a meta within meta. And that's an awesome concept. It is done to perfection. The balance, the depth that went into this series. However, part of that is what led into and spawned this in the first place. Like many games out there, like many TV shows, if you are more familiar with the reference, we'll go with this as point number 1. The spin-off has become more successful. Frasier to Cheers, Star Trek The Next Generation to Star Trek, that sort of thing. The translation, the iteration, the standing on the shoulders of its predecessor of Battlecon, of the use of these decks where you just take one of these decks out of the box and you just put it on the table and you shuffle it up and you go. And you can see, look, I've got 4 of them right here all set. Could not be simpler from that standpoint. And it uses the concept that was brought around in Battlecon from that extent, a la the Street Fighter or the Mortal Kombat, and just does it in a great way. Point 2, sort of smushed in with point 1 though here, is the asymmetry. The 4 characters are in these boxes right here that I'm holding as the 5th season of Exceed. And why have we gotten 5 seasons? Because it's freaking fantastic. And they are all compatible with each other. The asymmetry between the seasons even, that makes them compatible, but all uniquely different as well. And the thing you don't see on the back of this box or the box up there is that when you open them up, they give you sort of this personality trait diagram, if you will, of what type of character is this? Is it more skewed towards attack, more defense, more control, more manipulation, more speed? How do you want to do this? To take the words out of another famous person's mouth. Mercer. So it gives you the option in the asymmetry as well, so you're not just randomly choosing, but you're also getting the difficulty or the complexity choices that are presented to you, customized to your own style. Point number 3, it's elegant. You just have the board. You just have it laid out in front of you. You go this way, you go this way, you go this way. It's more 2-dimensional. You're not worrying about 3 dimensions. And, some of the other criticisms of the battlers that are on sort of a grid map is, oh, you swing and miss on your turn. Well, you can have that happen here, but there's not a whole lot of room. So better gear up, folks. The elegance of the playing a card, 1 action, 1 turn, there you go. But the elegance is not lost as well in terms of the simplicity because these cards have nuanced aspects to them. For Blaze Blue, for example, you have the cost, you have the card itself with the icons on the side, and then you also have the 2 sections at the bottom, the regular ability and the boost ability, both of which are going to be valuable depending on how you want to play them and depending on whether or not it is a regular, every deck has this card, a special one, or a ultra special one. So it's layers upon layers upon layers, which Battlecon has, but they tend to be more stratified. Number 4, have I mentioned the fact that there are 5 freaking seasons? Now, within the seasons, I'll say, probably more so, and I can't really speak from all of them, but only what I know anecdotally, is that within these seasons, I mean, I have 4 boxes of 4 characters each, right? 16 characters. And so right there, you've got 16 characters with asymmetric decks, and these decks are not like Battlecons. These are much bigger than Battlecons. And so therein lies the dilemma and the problem with a game like this, right, is the balancing. But it reminds me more akin to something like Spirit Island, if you'll follow my weird train of thought here for a second, in the sense that the balance that has to be achieved in a game with so many moving parts and so much options in terms of your player character, your player spirit in that case, to make it work, to make it not lopsided, to make it not unfun for those that are less familiar. To say that that is difficult is an understatement, to say the very least. And to have done it, and done it so well, so that complexity does not equal power creep. Because that's always the concern, right? When you play these mobile type games, these pay to win games, where things come out a year or 2 later, and the power creep is such that inevitably the later editions are more powerful and are going to win. And that is not the case with this. And it shows. Complexity does not mean I'm more powerful than you. It means if you're someone newer with slightly less experience, well, you're going to have an easier time understanding the tactics of the individual character than another one. And that cannot be understated in terms of being able to get the game played in the first place. Number 5, why I like this as well better than Battlecon. And this is probably going to be the controversial one. When you're talking about the trifecta of Street Fighter-esque arcade playing style games of the 2-player battlers, you think of the main 3. You think of Battlecon, you think of Yomi, and you think of Exceed. Battlecon is the perfect information. Yomi is rock, paper, scissors. And Exceed is sort of a combination thereof. And I would say it is a sum that is greater than its parts. Battlecon with the perfect information, sometimes I don't want to deal with perfect information. I don't want to be thinking that hard about how meta I have to be about what the other person is doing, as much as I enjoy doing that. There's just some nights I don't want to do that. And I don't want to be having to cycle through and take one and do one here. And just, I want to be able to have my hand, play, oh, I got this. I can use this to charge my overdrive, and then I can go. And Yomi, I mean, again, paper, scissors, rock, right? It's that sort of game, which again is a little bit more bluffing, but it's a little bit more luck. Whereas Battlecon is at the opposite end of the luck spectrum with little to none, essentially, or as little as you could have in a game like this. And so you have sort of blended the two to exceed expectations. Excuse the pun. I'm a dad, after all. And so I would argue that not having perfect information makes the game even more dynamic in how you're playing it, because you're given more options. It's not just Battlecon every time you lay down an attack, with the 2 elements and you just see what happens. This is, I may not even do an attack this turn. I may sucker you into attacking me so I can play my card that I've been waiting to maneuver and outmaneuver you in the first place and led you into my trap. So I would say that the chaos and the chaoticness and the special powers that come with all of these different seasons and how different they all have managed to be, so that you can find, again, the ilk of your choosing, whether it be 7th Cross, rest in peace, Shovel Knight, Street Fighter, now Blaze Blue, all of these as options to be able to get. So you have a theme you like, great. You have a theme you don't like, great. You can avoid it and still get the full experience. There you go. I love it. I love it. I love it. Full disclaimer here at the end, if you made it this far. Level 99 Games sent me Blaze Blue. They sent me Blaze Blue. Nice playmat and everything else. But, you know how much I love this game? I went out and bought all of 7th Cross afterwards. And I am eagerly waiting for Season 6 right now. I cannot freaking wait. Cannot click the pre-order refresh button enough. I love it. This is a top 10, if not top 5 game for me all time, period. There you go. Wasn't kidding. I love me some Exceed. You got questions? Let me know. You got comments? As always, throw them in the comment section. I love them. I love you guys for watching in the first place. Thank you for putting up with me and my eccentricities. Stay classy. Have a great day. Ba-doom.